What's up, Kenra? Low Wheeler here, and today we're going over my top 5 essentials, products, and formulas. Let's dive right in. These things are just core to everything I'm about. I'm a simplistic girly and a true minimalist at heart, let's be honest. So when it comes to packing my kit for hair shows or coming into the Kenra studio to film for you guys, I like to keep it streamlined, and I'm gonna share with you my top 5 faves. Let's dive in. So here we're gonna start with blonding brushes. Obviously, I'm a balayage queen, a blonding expert, and so when I'm looking at color brushes, blonding brushes, I'm looking for a couple key things. Here we have a classic, kind of variegated, soft finish brush. A lot of you guys are using Fremar brushes, so this is one brush that I really love, and it's kind of like your classic go-to. And what I use this for is detail and just a really clean line with my balayage. And for foiling and root tapping, this is a pretty awesome medium-sized brush. So you're always gonna see me grab for this guy. Secondly, you'll see me reach for this big boy when I'm going in for a little bit more. So in terms of balayage, when I am sectioning and working on long, thick, dense hair, it really makes the most sense for me to pick up a brush that can carry the most product. So this guy lets me do that. And the reason that's important is I don't want to be there in a long, dense, large section for a million years, picking up a little baby gram of product at a time. I'm gonna wanna scoop and lay a generous amount onto the surface I'm working in. So for those reasons, I like to switch up between a classic size brush and a large brush. And last but not least, when I'm toning, I really love this guy. It's a wide tooth rat tail comb. And the thing that I love about this is that it helps me move through my sections with ease. That's important because when you're working on wet hair, which I do to tone, you want to make sure that you're not catching on to any tangles or that you're working too sloppily, because you know the cleaner your sections are, the cleaner your placement, and the cleaner your placement is, the better the result. So you'll see me take that shadow root and work it all the way down with these fine tooths. I like to work with my hands a lot, so sometimes I'm smudging with my hands in a glove. Same goes with balayage. You'll see me use a rat tail, a classic rat tail for that, and you'll see me do some definition work with all the tutorials that you'll see on this channel dealing with balayage. So these things never leave my side. They come with me to all my classes, workshops, platform work, and definitely in studio. So let's move on to my favorite products. The Pearl Detangler. I love it because it's a cute little pearl. It's definitely on brand. This is a styling prep. In fact, many of my favorite products are preps because they just start the hair off in the right direction and they make the hair soft and pliable. And because I'm a blonding queen, we want to set up our hair to be the softest it can in the finish. So we have this styling prep and also the blow dry spray styling prep. The Pearl Milk is just gonna really help to give it a soft finish and set the hair. I think it has a couple other really great qualities. You're supposed to shake it and apply it onto towel dried hair. I love the smell. I love how soft and silky it makes the hair, so it's a go-to. The blow dry spray I am an addict for, and I use this for prepping and finishing sometimes. So what this is designed to do is it helps you to pull the moisture out of the hair from wet to dry, and it helps you to do that 50% quicker, which obviously I love. It also smells incredible. If you have this in your salon, you will sell it. People will rubberneck and turn their head to figure out where that smell is coming from, and it is always the blow dry spray. And to finish, sometimes I like to go in on a finished style and then just spritz it through the ends to give like a beachy aesthetic. If you hang out on my playlist in Kenra YouTube right here, you'll see me use these things time and time again. So those things are there for you in your inspo. Let's go into a finishing product that I really like, and that is the dry texture spray. with a number 6 hold. This is an aerosol and it layers into any and every hair type and gives like a salty texture and just a plumpness, you guys. So even if you're an extensionist, you're gonna love this for your clients that have fine hair, or whether you're doing that or working on building that really beachy texture into any client at all, this is a really great finisher. It is a level 6 in hold, so it's a very, very lightweight hold, but if you add enough of it, there's some texture there, which I obviously am here for. So that is my top list. And to build just like the ultimate beachy, soft summer wave, I love my Beach Washed Luxe Waver. This is a 3-barrel waving iron, and it is so amazing because it's to the point, it heats up so quickly. The large barrels create a very undone, salty finish, and it's just after my own heart. I designed her to just make my life easier, so you can find details about the Beach Washed Waver in our notes for this tutorial. So let's move on to blonding powder. Here we have the blue powder lightener. She is queen, she is everything. Kenra has so many beautiful lightening powders. I just can't get away from the blue powder lightener just because it just hits every point. It's a very, very potent and powerful lightener, but it's also gentle. It helps to lift up to 8 levels while keeping the hair cooler in the natural raw finish. So you'll see me reach for this time and time again. It's a go-to. I pretty much can't get away from this, so I highly recommend. So you might ask yourself, Lo, what is in your color bar? I keep it 100% Kenra. And so here's some of my top 5 favorite formulas that you will see. And I'll be honest, I stick to the same couple, and so we might have some revisits here, and you can see how some of these formulas get different effects. So here is my beautiful client, Taylor. She is a surfy girl. We built a balayage on her natural level 5 base. So when it comes to shadowing, I gravitated towards 5 NUA for the shadow root. NUA stands for Natural Ultra Ash, and it has a green underlining pigment, which I think it just hits the spot for mimicking that mousy brown, kind of natural dishwater kind of root color that we see on girls that naturally are on the lighter side. So the 5 NUA is a go-to. I'll always gravitate to that or a 6 NUA. So those two formulas are interchangeable to me. What makes me reach for 5 is when I have a 5 or darker natural base. So then we are seeing in the balayage a warm golden buttery beige. So my go-to is 9PV for that. I literally use 9PV on 90% of everybody. So there's gonna be some repeats on my top 5 for 9PV. That's just how passionate I am about it. So you have to give it a try. Here is another one of my beautiful clients. She has a very similar colorway and a similar palette as Taylor. So here we're looking at Sky, and she had already a lot of warm buttery tones in her hair, but they were more honey and golden copper when I took her to this point. So again, we reached for the 6 NUA to shadow her, and then the 9PV to build more neutrality into her buttery golden balayage. So I'm a big fan of this. I actually get asked to replicate some variation of this in the salon all the time. So it's a really good one. It's just super natural, has a lot of reflection in it. It's a go-to for sure. Here we have my beautiful Caroline. She has such a light base. So for me to reach for her shadow root, I'm gonna definitely lean on like more of a 7 NA. So because she's a natural level 7 base, I'm also going to reach for a natural ash, which is gonna carry the green through, but it's a little more subtle than the natural ultra ash. So again, we're gonna lean on those green undertones to keep us balanced, soft, and very natural looking. And then going into her lightest pale color, we're going to look at a 10 Violet. The thing I love about the 10 Violet Demi-Permanent is that it's a barely there violet. So the thing that is my pet peeve when toning my clients is I don't want anyone to look overtoned. I don't want to see any violet reflection in the hair. It's just not on brand for me. So I love the 10V because it's just barely there. If we leave it on the hair for like 10-15 minutes, wash it out, it's just the softest, brightest blonde versus a ashy tone. So for her, we're doing 7 natural ash and 10 V. Here we have another beautiful client. Her natural base is dark. I'm talking a level 3 darkness. So we went in to create this look with a foil placement using 30 volume blue powder lightener. And to make the root blend out, we went in with a 5 NUA with a little ribbon of 4. Sometimes I'll grab a neutral to just add a little bit of a dab of depth, just to drop maybe even like a quarter of a shade. So you'll see some of those customizations necessary depending on like who's sitting in your chair, right? So I don't change my formulations very much, but I might customize with a ribbon of neutral. And to finish her hair, we used a beige rapid toner, which beige has 2 components to it. To create beige, you're gonna look at a violet undertone meeting a gold undertone. Those bring cancellation to each other, so they land in the middle with a neutral result. So I really like to pull on those beige rapid toners when I just have a little bit of brass to work through and bang out. So for her, I'd like to maintain her with a 9 PV, but initially when I blonde somebody from dark to light, that beige rapid toner is just so clutch. And even for those color corrective situations, I really, really love the silver violet rapid toner. That's a really handy one to keep in your cabinet if you're playing with balayage and you're working towards getting better and better lift. Now we have this beautiful kind of warm ambery tone. And so this client, she has a lot of copper in her natural base. So to work off of that, I don't really pull the greens into her shadow root formula. I might do a ribbon of a 5 NUA or 6 NA mixed primarily with like an N series. So you're gonna see me work from that standpoint. So for her, I would choose like a 5N with a ribbon of 6 NUA just to dilute it slightly. And then embracing her copperness and just using maybe a half 9 PV, half 10 V, just to take the edge off and really embrace those warm caramely tones present in her natural hair. Okay, so those were some of my favorite formulations. Of course, to really see this come to life, you're gonna wanna like and subscribe to the Kenra YouTube channel. There are so many amazing classes on here, and not just from me. Of course, you're gonna see like a million blonding techniques from me. And if you love that and that speaks to you, please follow me on Instagram at @low_Wheeler Davis. I can't wait to see you there. Okay, bye.